I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International, and we are going to be talking about everything virtual real estate right now. And I'm going to teach every one of you how to conduct live virtual showings, live virtual open houses, live realtor tours, etc., live realtor listing presentations. So in the past, last week, we conducted 4 separate classes. And the feedback we got from all of the agents was, could you please do everything all in one class? So that is what we are going to cover today. We've condensed everything down into one class from start to finish. So without any further ado, I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart. And right off the bat, just want to say that we as a company, we are here for you, your clients. We hope that all of you are staying safe and healthy. And we just want to help you with your real estate business in the midst of all of the restrictions and this challenge that we are all facing together. And we have some very good news about what other agents are doing and how they are pivoting their business to take their business into a virtual real estate world and conducting transactions. Even this morning, I was talking to an agent who for the first time did a live virtual showing, and they got a contract, and they're just excited about business right now. Everyone just seems to be busy, even in the midst of what we are all facing together. So right out of the gate, though, I hope that all of you are safe and healthy and practicing all of the social distancing guidelines as dictated by our government and the Central Center for Disease Control and all of our local states as well. But I want to start off with this encouraging little post right here. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And that's what all of you are going to do. That's what we're going to do, and we're all going to do it together. And love, there's no other group of people I'd rather go through this with than all of you. So, just wish you the best, and let's talk about opportunities and how we can move this all forward. So, first thing I want to make sure that you're aware of is that the National Association of Realtors has created a website for all of you called nar.realtor/coronavirus. This website is being updated on a daily basis. It has information for home sellers, property owners, home buyers, realtors, brokers, and it even has information about the Small Business Administration CARES Act. And this is a screenshot, so obviously this isn't updated, but this website's being updated on a daily basis. If you haven't gone yet to check out all of the resources that are there, please go to nar.realtor/coronavirus. And hopefully that will then help you. All right, so here is our plan for today. We're going to break down our time today into 4 different sections. First thing we're going to do is go over the opportunity, the plan, the strategy, everything that you need to know and everything that you need to do. Then we're going to delve into how to market live virtual real estate. Then we're going to actually talk about, now that you've marketed live virtual real estate and now you have interest and you have people coming to your events or that want to engage with you, how do you actually conduct those engagements? So how do you conduct live virtual showings? How do you conduct live virtual open houses? Then we're going to talk about how to conduct live virtual listing or buyer presentations and appointments and live virtual realtor tours. So that's how we're going to break our training down into 4 sections. Let's delve and jump right into section number 1. The overall opportunity is that the world is shifting virtual and it is shifting online, and it has happened very quickly just in the last 3 weeks in real estate, the last 4 weeks. And I want you to look at the meme that's up on the screen here. This was a post that someone made on social media. Said, if you can choose your spouse online, you can choose your house online. And as when I saw it, I laughed. And I smiled when I saw it. Sorry, I have to keep turning on my lights in my office. And but then as I began to work with agents and gathering information from agents all around the country about how they are taking their business virtual, what I learned was that they're all adapting very quickly. The consumers are adapting very quickly. And I was having a conversation with someone, and we were talking about how online dating a few years ago used to be abnormal. It wasn't a well-adopted practice. It was kind of, when it first came out, some people thought it was weird, thought it was unnatural, didn't have a lot of traction. But then all of a sudden, people started to go online. They became used to it. They became adept at it. And then a statistic that I heard was a year and a half ago, 39% of all Americans had found their spouse or their significant other online. And that shows a huge amount of model adoption in just a few short years. And that is the best way that I could describe what is happening in real estate. Real estate is moving online and moving virtual. Recently, you've seen your MLSs start to adopt virtual open houses, virtual showings, live virtual tours of homes, and they've all begun to adopt certain verbiage as well as support certain software tools within the MLSs to help us conduct virtual real estate. So the first one that I received was from the CDAR, California Desert Association of Realtors, the first notice, and then quickly 24 hours later, I received it from 2 other states, Arizona, CDAR, we had it from Colorado, and then yesterday I was conducting calls around the country with agents, Rhode Island, Colorado, all kinds of other states have begun to adopt with their MLS the terminology and the verbiage that we all have started to use about live virtual open houses and live virtual showings, and also supporting up to 12 different types of software that you'll see there on the screen to do live virtual open houses and do virtual showings. So now when you go to create an open house, you can actually designate an open house as to be an in-person open house, or you can designate it to be a virtual open house or a live virtual event. Up on the screen right there, you're going to see 12 different types of software that most of the MLSs are adopting. So we're going to teach you today how to market these homes in the MLS, how to go virtual, then how to market it with realtors, how to market it with consumers, and how to keep moving on down this road. It's important to note that your marketing team at HomeSmart, your executive team at HomeSmart has been the National Association of Realtors. We've been working with the MLSs on the forefront of this over the last 3 weeks to make sure that we are right there leading the industry and you're leading your customers, and we are adapting with this. So up on the screen, you're going to see additional communications and verbiage from the MLSs. I see on the note someone said Albuquerque and Santa Fe MLSs as well. That's awesome. And then what's happening is now, when you designate something as a listing that is capable of a live virtual showing or that is going to have a scheduled live virtual open house, what the MLSs are doing is they're putting little icons next to the property, designating these properties as virtual homes. For a while, the MLSs they hadn't yet been able to make these fields searchable. So if you wanted to search for only virtual properties, you couldn't do that. Well, just yesterday, several of the MLSs announced that these virtual fields are now searchable. So if you are a buyer's agent and you're working with buyers, and you need to know which properties are available for live virtual showings that are still safe within a shelter-in-place environment, some of the MLSs now are making it that you can search and only search for which ones of these listings are live virtual showings. Now, in addition to that, we've started to work with some some social media strategies dealing with hashtags and dealing with tagging that can make these listings searchable on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. I'll get to that in just a moment. But here's the overall concept. The overall concept is that now via meeting software, which we are all so used to, all of you right now are on Zoom software. Zoom is becoming a natural thing. How many of you 6 weeks ago were on Zoom every day? And how many of you are on Zoom right now? And your customers are on Zoom. Home buyers, home sellers are all on Zoom, or they're on Facebook Live, or they're on Google Meet, or they're on FaceTime, or they're on various different software. And so what the possibility is, the concept is that the home seller is in the safety of their own home. And they're the one that is working the camera via this live virtual meeting software like Zoom. So for example, on the screen right now, the home seller is the big window showing, it has the camera flipped around on the phone. So it's basically showing the home through the camera. On the right-hand side, you have the buyer's agent, you have the prospective buyer or buyers, and you have the seller's agent. And they're all participating virtually via this meeting software. So you can see on the left there, there's the HomeSmart marketing team has already started to adapt marketing pieces, now offering live virtual open houses on the various software pieces. And then you see that they are displaying, you know, the home seller is inside the home showing the property, and then it's showing to the prospective buyer, the buyer's agents, the seller's agent, each in the privacy of their own homes, but doing it via the meeting software. And so, you know, we are adapting, and we're going to teach you how to do all of that. So we as an industry, we as real estate agents, we as a company are agile and mobile. And it's important to note consumers are agile and mobile, and we need to be as well. Just this morning, someone sent me this, and the subject line in their email was drumroll introducing virtual shopping. And excuse me, it was Ashley Home Furniture, and they have this little GIF about shop your own way. And we read the copy right there. Give your home a professional's touch without leaving home. Our Ashley Home Store specialists are ready to connect with you today for a virtual shopping experience via Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and more. And then it was a long scrolling email. I broke it into side-by-side screen. And then it says, you know, now Ashley Home Store is now a fever-free zone. And then they have other items in there. So what is happening is that we as an industry, real estate agents, we are going virtual, but so are other industries as well. And that's why even post COVID-19 and post this challenge and this struggle that we are all working through together, consumers and businesses are still going to conduct business virtually and online. So we need to hone this skill and have this strategy and have it available. And it's also going to become more accepted by consumers. The more companies, the more industries, every company and industry adopting it, it's going to become natural and second nature. So remember back to online virtual dating. At the beginning, it was weird, but then all of a sudden it has massive consumer adoption, and it's not weird anymore, and it's natural. And that's the same thing that is going to happen with moving businesses virtual, and everything real estate is moving virtual. One other quick example, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but watch this cool video an agent sent me from Chicago about how photographers are adapting to places where they're not even allowed to go inside the home anymore to shoot photography. They're standing out on the curbside on the street, and they're flying mini drones into the homes, and they're flying around and making virtual tours. So watch this video here, and let me know your comments in the chat. Here you go.
Stop right there. I've got the next big thing for you. We custom-built indoor real estate drones to fly through all your listings. Yep, we built the whole thing from the bottom up. Now we can fly inside your listings from outside the home. With fully insured and licensed pilots, there's no property that we can't tackle. Click today and get 20% off your indoor drone video. You won't regret it.
So the thing about this is that, you know, someone asked me the other day, but isn't that kind of expensive? And it might be. And that's why, because we as a company are agile and mobile, your executive team, Agile Mobile, as a company, we are still operating, supporting all of you, your brokerages, your customers, even within all of the guidelines that we are supposed to be following. And many of us are working from home, but we're still conducting business. We're adapting. And we are leading you to adapt, and that's what we're going to do. And we just want you to know right out of the gate, we as a company are here to serve you, your customers, the brokers, and help you adapt to this virtual world. So up on the screen, this is a screenshot of one of our agents in California. His name is Chris Lardy. And Chris is in the upper right corner. He's the listing agent. In the upper left-hand corner is the buyer's agent. The lower right-hand corner is the buyer. They are on a Zoom meeting right now, and the buyer is actually, their identity is shielded. They have no photograph. Their phone number, their name is protected, and identity is shielded. And on the lower left is the home seller walking through the home, conducting a live virtual showing. And so I'm going to play this video for you in a minute that Chris was kind enough to make for me. But the result of this live virtual showing was that the home buyer put money down on, put their earnest money down, wrote the contract, and if they're coming up on closing, if they haven't already closed, because this was a couple weeks ago, Chris has been operating in a shelter-in-place environment for about 5 weeks now, and he was not going to just let his business stop. He adapted, he pivoted, and we're going to show you that video and show you how to do that today. So Zoom is one form of software. Another form of software, though, is FaceTime. Up on the screen, you can see FaceTime. With Zoom software, you can see 49 people on a screen at once. You can have 100 participants in a call at once on Zoom. And we'll show you that. We'll talk about your free account versus a paid account coming up. FaceTime, many Americans have Apple products, iPhones, etc. You can have up to 32 people on a FaceTime call. And so one of the things you could have is you could have the buyer, you could have the seller, the seller's agent, the buyer's agent, and the buyer's mother-in-law, the buyer's sister, the buyer's cousin, however many people to do the walkthrough with them to give them advice, whatever they might want to do. So there's lots of software options and lots of opportunity for us to do this. So let's talk about what the opportunity is nationwide for all of us. How awesome would it be if HomeSmart was the first company in the nation to provide live virtual showings in mass, to provide live virtual open houses in mass, to hold the first ever nationwide live virtual open house weekend. And so what we need to do in order to do this is we need to train you and educate you, and I need to show you the plan, which is in 2 slides. But as an example, this part down here at the bottom that I have about let's hold a live national virtual open house weekend. Last year, we picked a weekend and we put together a marketing program and we did a national open house weekend. The challenge or the opportunity at that point, though, everyone knew how to do traditional open houses. You could hold a home open and market it and have people walk through. But now if we want to do that virtually, we need to train you on how to do a national virtual open house weekend and get you to try it first before we can actually pick a weekend and then launch it. So up on the screen, you're going to see marketing teams already created a marketing piece for a national virtual open house weekend. The problem is we have to blur out that date because we can't pick a date until we teach you how to do it and until we have all of you that are adept at it. Because if we do a national open house weekend and we only have 10 agents doing it, it doesn't have the traction that it could if we get everyone on board and everyone doing this. And then we do hold a national open house with all of us across the country participating in doing this. So as a marketing team, though, we've gone and we've created that marketing. We've created marketing pieces for you to start to educate consumers, educate realtors, like up on the screen you see right there, now offering live virtual open houses via Zoom. You see now offering Facebook Live virtual open houses. So that way, when you do a traditional open house, you market it beforehand, you capture people's information and you get engagement at the event, and then you convert them later. We call that before, during, and after. Well, we have to do that same thing virtually. And if we do that, then we're all going to gain more transactions. So here's the strategy. And what I need to know is if you are all in and if you want to participate and do this together. The first bullet point, talks about how we need to do this, how this needs to work. We have to do this together. We need massive participation from all of our brokerages and realtors around the country. We need to explain what needs to happen. We need to teach you all how to market this to both realtors and consumers and how to communicate and educate realtors and consumers as well. We need to train you on how to do it, how to conduct this and market your properties in the MLS. Make you aware of all the new marketing that the marketing teams created, all of the MLS marketing, the social media tools, signage, traditional marketing, that the marketing team has created for you. We have to convince you to use it, convince you to try it, and have you become experts at it. And then once you actually conduct this, we have to train you on how to use the different meeting software, the live virtual meeting software, get you to use it, convince you to try it, have you become experts at it, and close transactions at it. So then once we get that traction, we can pick a weekend for HomeSmart's National Live Virtual Open House Weekend. You all market it, we market it, we market your listings, and then consumers and realtors around the country participate. So here's the strategy. I'm going to teach you how to do it, get you to try it, get you to practice it and use it, become experts, and then have you lead the way. So what I'd like to know from all of you on the call right now is, are you in on virtual real estate? Go ahead and type it in the chat, or I'd like you to go to Smart Agent Ideas, our private Facebook group, and type, put a comment in there and a post about being all in on virtual real estate. And that way we get everybody across the country doing this, and we get everyone encouraging each other. So if you haven't yet heard about Smart Agent Ideas, what Smart Agent Ideas is our private Facebook group. If you just open up your Facebook app or open up Facebook on your, and please put the name of your brokerage, by the way, so we can pass this information on your brokerage and we can begin to coordinate this nationally. So put your name, the brokerage, and your city, and we will coordinate that with your franchisees or with your brokers. But back to Facebook Smart Agent Ideas. Go to Facebook, in the search bar, put Smart Agent, all one word, and Smart Agent Ideas group will come up, and then you ask to join the group, and then basically the agent services team will accept you into the group. And there we put different marketing materials, different announcements, and agents actually start to post helpful information and help each other begin to learn how to do live virtual events. And you can even set up, coordinate with each other to practice with each other to do these live virtual events and open house marketing. So just in the short amount of time, you're going to see agents have already gone in and started to comment. The Hillary Johnson Taylor, the Taylor Alt team is ready for the challenge. We're all in. And people started to post, I'm all in on virtual real estate. So if you want, go to Smart Agent Ideas, post this as well, and then start to share ideas. You'll notice that the second one, Gerald started to post, a video of how agents can be virtual in a virtual world. And we can start to encourage each other, share our success stories, and we can all do this and do this together. So now I want to pause for a minute. I want to read you something that happened just in the last week and a half here. And this is a email from Felice Katz-Bobo, our brokerage in Northern Arizona, Lakeside, Arizona. And one of her agents sent her this email. And I'd love you all to read it here. And it says, to whom it may concern, given the current COVID-19 conditions in which we all endeavor to remain safe, and I love this email, if you guys can adopt some of this verbiage in your communications to your customers and to other realtors and even to your broker, just get the word out that you're all in on virtual real estate. So here we go, read it again. Given the current COVID-19 conditions in which we all endeavor to remain safe and provide the top level of service to our clients, my team and I have discovered a simple and highly effective method to show homes on a virtual platform for increased safety of all involved. Today marked a new approach to showing properties on a virtual platform that will be incorporated into my team's processes and systems moving forward, even post-COVID-19. After successfully showing 3 homes, I was able to write an offer for my clients who are over 3 hours away from the actual properties, adhering to our governor's social distancing measures. Technology and fortitude made it all possible. Troy Brown, realtor and author, HomeSmart Professionals. Congratulations, Troy. That is awesome. Kudos to you. I love your verbiage there and what you wrote out, and that is a phenomenal way to begin to market and communicate out to your sphere of influence, to the industry, to consumers, that you are all in on virtual real estate and that you are capable and that they should contact you to keep conducting business even amid the COVID-19 measures that we're all facing. So I hope all of you copy this and use this with your customers and your agents, your communication, and congratulations to you, Troy. Thanks for sharing that with us, Felice. That's awesome information. But to me, that's encouraging, right? There's an example of an agent still doing business within a virtual world. So is Jillian Harris up in Oregon. She's just constantly posting about her transactions and showing how she's still adapting within a shelter-in-place environment. Here's a post by Chris Lardy in Orange County, California. Chris, who I talked about a minute ago, posted a picture of a family right here who bought this home. And the picture on the left is of their closing and of their contract signing with the title company, 8 feet apart. They had masks, gloves, booties, and hand sanitizer in the middle. And the closing administrator was 8 feet away. They were using clean, unused pens, that type of thing. It's just business is still being done, and we're capturing it, and we're sharing that with everyone. So I saw all your comments in the chat there, so you're all in. That's the strategy. That's the plan. Let's move on to step 2, which is marketing and how to actually market virtual real estate. I'll take a quick pause here, see if there's any questions for all of you real quick in the chat as well. All right, so I see no questions so far into the chat, so let's keep on going, and we'll talk about marketing. All right, so part number 2 is then how do we market live virtual showings? How do we market live virtual open houses, live virtual events, etc.? So we all know how to do traditional open houses. And if we want people to show up at our open houses, we have to promote them ahead of time. We have to do email marketing, social media marketing, call people, print marketing, postcards, signage, all kinds of marketing ahead of time, and even MLS marketing, marketing on the web portals. We have to get the word out that we are doing an open house. We have to dazzle people. We have to get them when they show up at the event. How do we capture their contact information? Do we get them to sign a sign-in sheet? How is it that we actually get them to engage with us? One of the agents that I know, Tina Valiant in Phoenix, Arizona, she is amazing, teaches some classes on 16 steps to holding an amazing virtual open house, or an amazing open house. She's adapted that curriculum now to do virtual open houses. One of the things she talks about when you're dazzling or you're working with customers during the event is one of the first things you do is tell the story of the home. You get the customer engaged with the home, and you tell the story of the home seller, and you begin to drive engagement with the prospect. And then afterwards you convert, and you actually hopefully result in a contract and a writing of that property that you're showing. Well, when we move things virtual, we still have to do the same things. We still have to promote, we still have to dazzle, we still have to convert. It's just this time we're doing it virtually. So step number 1 in marketing, all of you need to know how to market your properties by using consistent verbiage and consistent wording. Now, the MLSs have adopted all of this wording, and I want to clarify a couple things. So, and this is why you need to use consistent verbiage. So if we just use the words open house, the consumer thinks, oh, open houses have been around forever. And the MLS is even wanting to make a distinction between a traditional open house and a new open house. And as well as when you use the words, oh, a virtual tour. Everyone will say, a consumer will say, hey, those virtual tours have been around forever. That's where you take the photographs, you stitch them together with music, they're pre-recorded. Well, the MLSs are showing there's a designation between a live virtual realtor tour and a virtual tour, and or just a virtual tour. So we've learned from agents in the last 3 weeks who have done showings and have begun to market their properties. If they just say virtual tour, people don't understand it's new. And what they've started to adopt is this consistent verbiage, and your MLSs are asking for it too. So I want to read you a couple things. What is an open house? An open house is a scheduled event as a designated time where an agent holds an open house for potential buyers to walk through. It's also called a physical showing or a traditional in-person open house. What is a live virtual open house? A live virtual open house is a live scheduled event for a designated amount of time where an agent holds the house open, but is hosting it virtually by posting an invitation link or sending out an invite via virtual meeting software. Here, the home seller or the agent is the one physically at the listing and giving the tour of the property to prospective buyers and prospective buyer agents virtually via virtual meeting software. The open house audience can view the live stream, interact with the agent, ask questions. Agents can even share files and other information and screens as well. This verbiage is coming from your MLSs who basically want to say, when you're in the MLS and you want to designate it as virtual, it needs to be virtual. When you want to designate it as just a traditional open house, you need to designate it that way. And what is the difference between a live virtual showing and a live virtual open house? A live virtual open house is maybe from noon to 3 p.m. It's 3 hours long. People can come in and go virtually. A live or virtual showing is more of a one-on-one setup between the selling agent and the buyer's agent and the buyers, and it's only set for a set amount of time, say 1 p.m. And so that's where we need to use that consistent verbiage. What is a live virtual realtor tour? A live virtual realtor tour is a live scheduled event when an agent shows a group of buyers agents, potentially 40 buyers agents, virtually shows a property using virtual meeting software like Zoom, FaceTime, etc. So remember when we used to go around and we'd do caravans and we'd go car after car and we'd follow to an event, we'd go look at 8 different homes on a home tour. Well, now we are doing those tours live virtually via virtual meeting software. So again, that's different than a traditional virtual tour. This is what your MLSs are saying. A virtual tour is a digital walkthrough of a property by way of a slideshow or pre-recorded video. It is not scheduled, and virtual tours still go in the old section of the MLS. Live virtual goes in the new sections of the MLS and the new searchable fields. Am I making sense? So, well, also lastly, what is a live virtual listing appointment? A live virtual listing appointment is where prospective buyers and sellers meet virtually via prospective meeting software. You're not going into their living room anymore. You're doing it virtually. So those are the consistent verbiage that we should be using. We should be using live virtual open house, live virtual showing, a live virtual realtor tour, and live virtual listing appointments. So now let's take this into marketing. How do we begin to use this verbiage in our marketing and do it effectively? So imagine on an email or a postcard or an email going out about a listing right now, instead of just saying, hey, call to schedule a tour, you now should say, tour this home live from the comfort of your own home. Call or text the number on the yard sign to set up your live virtual showing via Zoom or FaceTime. So this might be signage that accompanies a yard sign in the front yard. And notice how it includes the words Zoom or FaceTime, this meeting software. If you notice, I've been watching Jimmy Fallon at night a little bit lately. And the other night I was watching him and he used the word Zoom like 14 times in one segment. I think he was interviewing the Beastie Boys. And they were all talking about, 6 weeks ago, they didn't even know how to Zoom. And now they're Zooming every day. And Zoom is becoming a word that customers understand. And Zoom is a way of differentiating between the old traditional virtual tour, which was just photograph and music stitched together. Well, now this is a live virtual showing via Zoom or FaceTime. So you're going to want to incorporate that into your training and into your marketing. Another example, tour this home via Zoom or FaceTime from the comfort of your own home. Call or text the number on the yard sign to set up your live virtual showing. Or you would say the same thing, like instead of surfing your TV for movies, tour this home live from the comfort of your own home. Call or text the number on the yard sign to set up your live virtual showing. So are you seeing how to incorporate consistent verbiage then inside of your marketing for live virtual showings. And then notice I switched the screen here. This time you would switch and use the same verbiage, but this time you're talking about a live virtual open house. Or I want to now take it online when you're talking about social media posts or email or postcards or print or MLS remarks, etc. So now what you're going to want to say is you're going to want to include links in an email or in a social media post. So you're going to say, tour this home live from the comfort of your own home. And then you're going to say, click here, or call or text or email to see this home during our live virtual open house via Zoom or FaceTime. So let me show you a quick example. The important thing is here, you're including a link. I want to fast forward here 2 slides. I want to show you this. Oh, I don't have it yet. So in a minute, I'm going to show you an example of a Facebook post that is including a link, because that's the difference. You're not just saying call or text me. You're saying click here or click the email below to see this home during a live virtual open house. So how about this? Zoom is becoming such a common word. What about using the phrase in your marketing, like, do you Zoom? And I have this vision someday of maybe doing a cool t-shirt. I'd love to get your feedback in the chat. You know, what do you think about this idea? A t-shirt says, do you Zoom? Ask me about live virtual showings and live virtual open houses from the comfort of your own home. And then it's got a nice HomeSmart logo. You know, something like that you could all wear around when we stop this social distancing, or we need to incorporate that phraseology into our marketing. So let me know what you think, and we're going to move on. So the first part of marketing is all to use consistent verbiage, and let me know if you guys think that you can do that. Part number 2, how do we market it inside of the MLS? How do we market things virtually? So this is where I would love Billy to unmute himself here if you could. Billy Myers, who created a step-by-step video for all of you and step-by-step instructions that you're all going to have with the PDF that we're going to send you of this presentation, all of you who registered. So real quick, there's 3 MLSs, major MLSs in the country, that between the 3 of them, they cover about 90–95% of all the MLSs in the United States. The companies are Flex MLS, then you have Paragon MLS, and then you have Matrix MLS. And Matrix is by CoreLogic MLS, and Paragon and Flex MLS. So what we did was we created step-by-step guides for all of you. I don't want Billy to run through too much of it, but let's run through Flex because they're all pretty similar. So Billy, if you could walk them through the step-by-step of, you know, Flex MLS.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. So basically, when you're setting up your virtual open house, we'll look at Flex right now. It's going to be very similar to when you were setting up an in-person open house, but there's an additional field and a new open house type that you'll select. So when you're selecting the open house type, you're going to select virtual. And then when after you select, when you have decided to host a live virtual open house and you decide which meeting software you're going to use, you'll be provided an URL link that you will want to share, market the open house out, the live virtual open house out. You'll paste that right in that link URL field. And then once you publish the open house, it'll be published and promoted with a live virtual open house link that you'll be able to click on. Like you can see right here in these 2 fields, you'll see like the open house link. Agents and buyers will be able to click on that link and they'll have access to your video conference meeting when you decide to have it. So yeah, the Flex, the Paragon, and the CoreLogic, they're all.
Oh, one question I had for you, Billy, real quick. Note there in the bottom picture to the right, it says, join my online open house. So did you choose that verbiage, or that verbiage came from the MLS?
That was directly from the MLS.
Right.
So that was how it will appear as agents are searching through open houses that are happening. You'll see, I've seen different ones. So I've seen virtual open house, and online open house, but so I guess it could just be difference between like the different systems. Like here it says live stream URL, and it'll show you the link. but yeah, live virtual open house is how it'll show. And
Right.
you'll be provided with that link that agents and buyers will be able to click on.
Correct. Yep. And then additionally, Matrix MLS, which is done by, run by CoreLogic, you've got actually a virtual public designation. You also have a virtual broker designation, so broker only.
Yeah, so the two different types to market that open house, whether to the public or to as strictly just brokers.
Right. So then one of the questions that just came in is back on Flex MLS, and it says, how do you search for Flex on Flex for virtual open houses? Can you search on Zillow for virtual open houses? So I do not know if on Zillow you can search for virtual open houses. Would love it if one of the audience members knows that info, if they could type it into the chat. Otherwise, I'll have to research that. But I do know that within Flex, there are two ways. Okay, so one is you would just search for open houses and it would return all of the open houses, but some open houses would have a blue icon next to them that say that this is a virtual open house, and it have that little blue icon next to it. Since then, I've heard that Flex has actually made the field virtual searchable, but I have not had a chance to either update our slides in this presentation yet or go in and verify how you can actually search. But I was told that Flex MLS made the field searchable. Billy, do you know how to do that by chance?
I know that there was a way in Flex where it says you can, under daily functions on the menu, you'll click tour open houses and you'll enter in your search parameters. So there might be like a key phrase you can type in there, say virtual, and all the virtual ones will show up. I know I want to say if we scroll over to the right or to the, I think Paragon also has it, or just maybe the next one. So I know Paragon can allow you to search the open houses. There's just, the instructions are just listed right there.
Right.
Back one more. So right here, yeah, if you're in Paragon, you'll click search icon, then select tour open houses. There's two separate fields. There's status. You're going to want to enter 0. And for live stream field, you'll enter yes. So that'll show all the virtual open houses through Paragon. Yeah, so they're adding the features to search virtual as we're going through all this. So we will have to get in there and
so
that's the exact function.
That's why it's important to know. So what we've done is, and there's some questions coming in on the chat, you know, like I'm here in Maryland and we use Bright MLS and use the same tools too. So you are correct. Flex MLS is used in multiple MLSs around the country, as is Paragon, as is Matrix. And basically what is happening is that those three versions of software are used in every MLS. Almost, 95% of the MLSs use one of the three. So what we as a team did for all of you is we've created step-by-step guidelines for you. So for Flex MLS, here's the 4-step process. Here's some important notes. And then you also have some additional notes right here on Flex MLS. For Paragon, we have these 4 steps, and then an additional 4 steps and some new screens for how to set it up in MLS. 4 steps on how to set it up, 4 steps how to search in the MLS as well. And then we did the same thing for Matrix, which is CoreLogic's product. Now, with all of these products, or many of them, showing time is included inside of the MLS as well. And showing time is where you would coordinate the showings with the other agent. When you have an agent that reaches out and says, hey, I have a buyer that would like to tour your home. Well, we used to do it, we'd set up a showing appointment. Well, now we're doing that virtually. So Billy, do you want to speak to that for a minute?
Yeah, definitely. So showing time has, they came out with a couple steps of how you want to set it up, your listings up in showing time for agents and prospective buyers to be able to know, get access details to that URL link. So their first, their big step that they wanted, that you can add a mass note to all listings that you have in showing time, which you'll do in your edit profile page, where you can just add a note saying that all showing appointments will be done live virtually through the link below, so you can copy and paste your meeting link and paste it into that note, or you can set it up in the access details instead of entering a lockbox code as you would have in the past. You will enter in that join URL link provided from the video conferencing software you decide to use. That way, when an agent wants to set up a showing, they'll, instead of getting the lockbox, they'll get that URL link that they'll be able to join and coordinate the time to set up that live virtual showing that you'd like to set up. And they have a couple other settings. You can change the appointment type to a courtesy call and go, so they don't have to wait for you to admit them. They can just get the access code right away and join the meeting when you're ready to set up that live virtual showing.
Yes, and up on the screen right here, you see we have a front and back PDF that Showing Time has created about how to schedule a live virtual showing, and it has some FAQs, frequently asked questions, there as well. And those would be good for you all to have. So those are included here in the PowerPoint for all of you, and you'll be able to go reference these right here for Showing Time. Right?
Yep.
All right. So, additionally, I want to answer real quick just one of the questions. Someone did post, hey, Zillow, you can search virtual in Phoenix. So virtual in Phoenix as an example, and then request, tour with an agent. So some of the portals then are adapting. I haven't verified that myself, but that's what Jacqueline is saying. Awesome. So virtual is where it's moving. And if you have virtual capability, then you're going to be able to do that. So you're going to want to market it with the MLSs and market it with your customers, as well as, even the web portals. So that kind of covers everything then, having to do with the MLSs. Billy, do you have anything else that we need to add? And I'll look at the chat here. We'll see if there's any other questions on the MLSs.
The one thing to add is when you are pasting that URL link into the MLS, it only, a lot of the MLSs, they've chosen and then selected 12 conferencing softwares that they support. So you're going to want to make sure that you take a look at that list and you're pasting a join URL link from one of those supported platforms, so that the MLS will recognize that it's a virtual, it'll be a virtual open house, and that the link will be clickable for agents to click and have access to your meeting.
Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Billy. Now let's go on to part 3 of marketing. There's 6 steps in the marketing. Part 3 is to use all of the new marketing assets that the marketing team has created for you. So for example, up on the screen, you see that iPad image with the seller big, the buyer agent, the prospective buyer, the seller agent. And so that graphic, that iPad graphic there, is available for you to use in your marketing to start to communicate, hey, I now offer live virtual showings, or I now offer live virtual open houses, etc. You can download these marketing assets at homesmart.com/virtual-open-house. So Emily, if you could type that into the chat for me, that'd be great. But let's go look at everything that we've created for you marketing-wise that you can start to use to communicate and market out to your buyers and your sellers, as well as to other realtors. So if you go to the website that Emily just typed into the URL, homesmart.com /virtual-open-house, that is the page designed for you, the agent, to go download these marketing tools. We created a second page called homesmart.com /virtual-open-house. And this is a page then where your consumer can see all the information about how to buy or sell a home without ever having to step outside your front door. So if you're working with a customer, you can say, hey, let's buy or sell your home without having to step foot outside your door. We're going to set up live virtual events, and this is how we're going to do it. You send them here to the web page, and it's going to show them everything about the what is a live virtual open house, what is a live virtual event, what is a live virtual showing, etc. So this page is created for the consumer, and for you to use. So that's the first marketing component that we've given all of you. Additionally, we've created signage that is designed to accompany your existing yard sign. This doesn't replace your yard sign. It's designed to accompany your existing yard sign. The idea was that we would create artwork that you could download and take to a local print company, and you could use that super cheap Coroplast signage that goes on a quick little H frame and stick it in the front yard right next to the existing yard sign. So the artwork is available at the downloads page that Emily just typed in for all of you, as well as it's available in the Marketing Design Center inside of Real Smart Agent. And here's what that H-frame yard sign, accompanying yard sign looks like. So imagine you have your typical yard sign in the front yard, and then there's this sign facing the street, and it says, hey, live virtual showings available on this property. Call or text the number on the yard sign to schedule your personal showing. So it references the existing yard sign that you have in the front yard. We did an 18 by 24 version of this, as well as we did a 24 by 24 version of this. So, download this artwork, print it out, put it in the front yard right next to your existing yard sign. We also created a version that could be for open houses. So say you wanted to schedule a live virtual open house on a Saturday between 12 and 3 p.m. You could use this signage, hey, live virtual open house available on this property. Call or text the number on the yard sign for details on this on attending this live virtual open house. What would happen is the customer contacts you, and then at that point you would send them out via text or email, or however you would send them the link or invite them into the live virtual open house between this time and this time, or into the live virtual showing. And so that's why the signage accompanies the yard sign. In addition, we do have a rider right here that we created as well. Live virtual showings available. Call or text the number. Now this is a 12-inch rider. Riders come in a 6-inch tall by 24 inches wide, or 12 inches tall by 24 inches wide. In order to get the photograph of the iPad on there that we want people to see that this is a virtual showing, we made it a 12-inch tall by 24-inch rider. Again, you can download this at the places where Emily is telling all of you in the chat. So, download and start to use the accompanying signage that we've given you. Additionally, up on the screen right here, this is a social media graphic or an email marketing or a print marketing graphic that you can start to use. This one happens to be about the virtual open house weekend that is coming soon. And this is a great way to build momentum for the event or to get your buyers interested in potentially doing live virtual open houses. But then we created 3 different groups of social media graphics. We created a group that talks about live virtual showings. We created a group that talks about live virtual open houses. And we created a group that talks about live virtual realtor tours instead of caravans. But what we did was, when we created these graphics, we also added the wording for the software that you potentially would want to use. For example, posting on your social media right now, you could say, hey, I now offer live virtual showings via Zoom. Or I now offer live via virtual showings via Facebook. Or I'm using that through FaceTime Live or Google Meet. Whatever the software is you're using, you would choose the social media graphic to go along with it. But let's say now you want to do live virtual open houses. What you would do is you would say, choose the live virtual open house version, and then I want to do my open house via Zoom. Therefore, I'm going to use this social media graphic, now offering live virtual open houses via Zoom. If you want to use other software, we created one for Facebook Live. We created one for FaceTime Live, and also Google Meet as well. Now, in addition, we started to create marketing for you to promote maybe doing both. So live virtual open houses on Zoom and FaceTime. So you can market 2 parts of property or of software. And then in addition, we started to do live virtual realtor tours via Zoom and FaceTime as well. So up on the screen right here, these are the screens for the live virtual realtor tours. Well, I'll explain those more in a moment. And then social strategy. So part 3 is, part 1 is go to the webpage, the consumer webpage. Part 2 is, all about the signage. Part 3 is all about the social media graphics. Well, part 4 is when you actually go online and you start to execute social media strategy and you actually participate with us. So that's where you would have and start to use the terms live virtual open house, live virtual showing, a live virtual realtor tour, etc. And you would say, hey, click the link below. So right up on the screen here, this is a screenshot from one of our agents up in Oregon. Why not tour the home from the comfort of your couch? Call me. And then has the listing right there. I love it. And in this case, they actually are using a Matterport virtual tour where somebody can go into the home and actually click and take a virtual tour, using the virtual tour software, or they could market it and say, hey, I have a live virtual showing. Here, one of our agents is taking his first-time homebuyer workshop, but he's taking it virtual. And so he's marketing that. Good job, Kwesi, talking about marketing first-time homebuyer workshop via virtual. And then this is Emilio, out talking out in Rhode Island, about taking things, live showing time, beach mansion, etc., and promoting that. And if you use the verbiage, live virtual showing, live virtual open house, along with your social media, it'll help. So again, right here, this is your the verbiage that you should use when you're marketing these. And here's the screenshot in the example of the agent this weekend that was doing, notice on the left-hand side, it says, simply click on the link below to participate in the live virtual showing open house up until 3 p.m. today. Don't forget to check out the walk-in bathtub. And then it's got the link to get into the Zoom meeting. So that's how you would market it. Then there's actual screenshots of showing how it looked actually when you did market, go into Zoom. And then in your social media posts, how about using the verbiage, do you Zoom, right? Ask me about live virtual showings, live virtual open houses from the comfort of your home. Then you can also, what about this verbiage? Posting on social media. If you can choose your spouse online, you can choose your house online. Talk to me about how live virtual showings or live virtual open houses, I can help you see real estate right now online via live virtual open houses and live virtual showings. Step number 5 is to adopt our hashtag strategy. So in order to make social media posts searchable, if you add hashtags on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, you'll notice that they still work. And these are some Google searches I did about how effective are hashtags on Facebook, how effective are they on YouTube, and how effective are they on Instagram. They're very effective. Note one thing, on YouTube, you can only include 3 hashtags. So you'll notice up on the top of the screen right here where it says how to make a custom thumbnail on YouTube with Photoshop, it has 3 different hashtags. Hashtag video MW 18, hashtag video marketing, hashtag creator. And so he's only using 3 hashtags because 3 are the only that are allowed via YouTube. So just make sure you know that. Only use 3 social media posts. All right, so here's the social media posts that or the hashtag convention that we would love you all to start using. Hashtag HomeSmart Live. Hashtag HomeSmart Live virtual showings. Hashtag HomeSmart Live virtual showings, and then this 2-state abbreviation for your state. So this was the original strategy. But as we've had agents using this in the last week, you would use this strategy for virtual showings. You would use this strategy for virtual open houses, and also use it for these terms. But here's what we've learned is that the shorter the versions, the better. And most of the consumers and agents were adopting or adapting to hashtag HomeSmart Live, hashtag HomeSmart Live Rhode Island, hashtag HomeSmart Live Colorado, hashtag HomeSmart Live Texas, so TX. So keep it as short and sweet. Adopt these 2 hashtags, hashtag HomeSmart Live, hashtag HomeSmart Live, and then 2-state abbreviation. So start doing those with us. In addition to the hashtags, if you can tag HomeSmart International when you're on Facebook, you'll notice on the screen right there, it says tag at HomeSmart INTL. And so Adam Bauer, our VP of Marketing, he sent me a note that says, hey, if when you're on Instagram, you tag at HomeSmart INTL, the marketing team will basically also reshare and repost your post. And so it just gives it additional viewing throughout the industry. So here's the synopsis of part number 2, which is how to market properties. Use consistent verbiage, market properties in the MLS, use all the new marketing assets, participate in the social strategy and post and comment, etc. Participate in the hashtag strategy, and then marketing all of the above items to the consumer. So big question that we get is, where do I download all of these marketing assets and these tools? Where do I watch previous recordings? So if you go to homesmart.com/virtual-open-house, that's where you're going to be able to go download all of this material. So right there, those are screenshots that you can see. Whoops, I went backwards. And you can start to see where you need to go download. All right, so now let's get into step number 3, and let's actually talk about conducting live events. So much the way that I'm right now with all of you, I can turn my camera off, I can turn my camera on, because I'm controlling everything. I can actually have my camera on and I can be talking. But I get an alert on my screen that says, hey, you are muted. So after you begin to learn how to use this software, you can actually begin to conduct live events and be very adept at doing all of this. So let's walk you through step by step how to conduct live virtual showings and live virtual open houses. So earlier I showed you a screenshot of Chris Lardy in California. And this is Chris and I doing a side-by-side recording. And maybe this is like an example of a side-by-side virtual listing appointment or a virtual showing that you can do one-on-one with a realtor or another customer. You just go to click off your meeting software, get it going, invite the other person, and there they are, and you're doing a live event or a live meeting. So some helpful links for all of you that we, if you could. You can watch a video of Chris Lardy talking about how he's conducting virtual real estate and how he's being very successful with virtual real estate. So go to that YouTube link right there and you can watch that recording of Chris. Additionally, I recorded a live virtual showing of Chris. Chris recorded it, showing him actually doing a live virtual showing. I'm going to play that for you here in just a moment. Parts of it, I just want you to see how it works. Emily was so awesome. She just typed it in the chat for all of you. So you can copy and paste those links right out of your chat and then go watch those videos in their entirety. And you can also go to zoom.com to set up your own free account. So before I actually show you the example, I want to explain the different ways of doing live virtual showings. So on one example, you're going to pre-record footage. And you're going to then use that pre-recorded footage and set up a live Zoom meeting or live meeting software. And when you're doing the live event, then you're going to press play and you're going to begin to record with someone. And the other way is to do it completely live. The differences between a recorded version and a completely live version is that a completely live version, basically you have multiple people on the call and the buyer says, hey, can you show me the ceilings? If I'm doing it virtually live, I can take my iPhone and I can tilt it up and show you the ceilings and say, is that what you were looking for? Now, if I do a pre-recorded where I walk through the home with my phone and I take a tour and I record it and I do it previously, then when I'm walking you through it, all I can do is pause. But I can still do a live showing. It's just doing a live showing with pre-recorded. So here are the step-by-step versions of how you would walk through a pre-recorded video footage. First thing you have to do is pre-record footage of a walkthrough, and don't speak, don't do any voiceovers so that you can do that live when you're talking to someone. Then you want to send out a post-meeting invitation to, or you want to send out or post the meeting invitation or link from the meeting software to the prospective buyer, the prospective buyer's agent, or the live virtual open house visitor. Then you open in Zoom, you share your desktop, etc. You press play on the pre-recorded video, you talk or you talk live, through it. For the completely live version, you're going to send out just the meeting invitation, and then you're just going to do it live. You're going to conduct and block the identities, and as the seller walks through your home, you're going to see it. So what I want to do, I want to play for you a version here, and I want to give you an example real quick of you're going to be able to see. I'm going to fast forward a little bit and watch what Chris is doing here for all of you.
Okay, today I'm here. We're going to do a version.
So I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to fast forward it a little bit till they start actually showing the property. So notice again, he's got the buyer's agent on. The buyer's identity is shielded as well.
In the dining room area.
Whoops, sorry, backed up too far. So here you go.
In the craft room. So today during the open house, we're only going to be featuring the downstairs of this property.
Great. How high are the ceilings in general?
So the ceilings are in the dining room area is about a 14 to 16 foot ceiling, and in the other areas are about 10 feet, or 9 to 10 feet.
Great.
So this is the great room. Can you shift your phone opposite angle? So can you go landscape? Is that better for the buyer? Can you ask your buyer if that's better?
Mm-hmm. Much better, he said.
So I paused it for a minute. One of the things to note here is that the buyer in the lower right corner is texting with the buyer's agent in the upper left corner. They're texting privately via the chat, because when you're in the chat mechanism, you can text everyone in the group, or in Zoom, you can only text just privately one party. So right now, all of you are on Zoom. If you wanted to, you could text me privately, or you could text the whole group. That's the same way that it works. So notice they're talking back and forth as Chris is doing the virtual showing, because they're texting with each other. And the prospective buyer is muted. The prospective seller is muted as well.
So the kitchen, like I said, has been completely remodeled and redone. There's French doors on the back of the great room that go out to the entertainer's backyard. That's got a built-in barbecue, and then plenty of area just to entertain. So it's raining out, so we're not going to take the camera outside too much today during the rain, but she can at least show you where the backyard is. Got string lighting along the top. That'll go
what's in the far corner of the backyard?
The far corner is a fire pit and a couch. So those will be taken with the seller. However, that's a really good spot for it. The lighting will actually stay.
My buyer is asking, can you see the neighbors from the yard? Do they look in? I guess, how private is the backyard area?
It's really private, especially from the back side of the property. The right side of the property has a little bit of neighbor view. Seller, can you take the camera to the right? Yeah. So it's got a little bit of a neighbor view there. So if it's me, I would recommend that your buyer would place trees there to block that view. But seller, can you shift to the left? There you go. See, that's the left. That's the back of the property. Nobody sees in. And then if you look to the far left, nobody sees in either. So it's just on the right side.
Okay.
So the house has also got 2 AC units, one for downstairs and one for upstairs. And we've taken the AC unit, and the sellers told me that they've replaced the upstairs AC unit, all brand new ducting, and put a really energy efficient one in there for the hot days. Slow down a little bit, seller. There you go. Just kind of pan.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to paused it again. Notice how he had the seller slow down. That is the one thing. I'm talking to like 50 different agents that are doing virtual tours right now with customers. And the one thing that they're all saying in common is, educate the person who is the home seller walking through the home. Just have them walk slowly, have them pan slowly, and coach them a little bit ahead of time. And if you coach them ahead of time, they're very successful. They're good at it. and then remind them maybe throughout while you're doing it, it's okay. And the other thing is, surprisingly, the sellers love being involved. So they're okay being the cameraman, just so you know. So, but watch Chris when he's talking, you know, to the agent here, or to the seller about slowing down.
Slow down a little bit, seller. There you go. Just kind of pan the room. You can see it's all custom kitchen, open shelving, new appliances throughout, and then there's a butler's pantry right off the kitchen.
Yeah, can we go ahead and see the butler's pantry?
I'm sure probably just peek in there real quick. There you go. So there's the butler's pantry, open shelving in there also.
Great. What kind of countertop in the butler's pantry my seller or my buyer wants to know?
The countertop is a wood countertop, so like a butcher block, but a custom made one is what she told me.
Great.
And then the shelves are custom made also. Go ahead and continue into the dining room. You can see the dining room is large enough to fit 10 people at the table. You might even be able to get 12 or 14 there too, depending. Go ahead and go into the master. So this home is really unique. It's got a downstairs master bedroom, which is very versatile, can be used throughout the ages, and there's no time limit on that, of course, being that you don't have to go upstairs. So downstairs master bedroom, it's got wood flooring downstairs too. It's got plantation shutters. And then it's got access to the backyard where the fire pit's at.
Is that a French door or is that a single door?
It's a single door.
Okay.
Seller, I think you can go ahead and pan to the master bathroom. Is your buyer good with the master bedroom so far?
So far, I haven't heard anything. Buyer, is there anything? Oh, they said yes.
Okay, good. So as you can see, the master bathroom has been remodeled. Carrara marble countertops. There is a standalone soaking tub in the bathroom, wood grain porcelain tile flooring, and subway tile shower. Closets oversized. I won't make her show you too much of that considering they're still living in the home. But the closet is large and can fit a lot of stuff in there. Okay. And then back out of there.
I apologize. My buyer wants to know what kind of flooring is in the bath. You mentioned it, but I guess how is it? Maybe explain how it's different from in the bath than the rest of the downstairs.
Okay, yeah. So the tile is tile flooring in the master bathroom. So it's a porcelain tile that's wood grain. And so it's actually not wood, it's porcelain tile.
Which I think is a great idea when it comes to bathrooms.
Absolutely, yeah. I hope your buyer will like that. Okay, seller, I think you can head back out of the master. Is the master bath okay for you?
Buyer is saying, got it. Is that a shelf behind the bath or just wall detailing?
So it's a shelf. So when the sellers remodeled the bathroom, they built the shelf out so that they could put stuff along the top of the shelf when they're taking a bath, or even for decorative items.
Right.
All right, so I think everyone can see there then, how that is working. Whoops, sorry. So hopefully you all saw my comments in the chat. I made a couple notes in the chat as we were all going along. Have the doors open to the pantry, etc. Makes the tour smoother. Have all of the lights on ahead of time. Coach your seller or the camera person to move the camera as the conversation flows and to zoom in when asked. Examples of that were on the flooring or on the shelf in the back of the master bath, back behind the bathtub. And that's what makes it a live virtual showing, because the buyer is actually having requests and the camera person is actually showing that property, and answering it, moving the camera. Now imagine though doing that also pre-recorded. You can do that pre-recorded where on the lower left corner, let's just say that, I'm gonna fast forward again. Let's say that this was footage that was done, a week earlier, and that you're talking over the top of it. Whoops, sorry. Darn it. Right back, sorry. Let's see here. So imagine now that the person, you know, the video footage you have.
Okay, today I'm
skipping ahead right here. Okay, so imagine for a minute that recording voiceover is not over the top of it.
Opposite angle, so can you go landscape?
You're actually talking over the top of it.
Is that better for the buyer?
You could do that too. So
Yeah,
that's how pre-recorded work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so a question on the screen.
Much
Love
better.
the question. Can we use Matterport to show all instead of the seller? So here's a couple things. One option in some states where realtors are not allowed to enter the home, the seller is your only option. In some states, you might even have an unoccupied home and you're not allowed to have photographers even enter the home. So photographers aren't an option. You as the realtor can't enter the home. The realtor, that isn't an option. But for example, in Colorado, just yesterday we heard that on April 27th, they're going to be lifting some restrictions. Now the realtor can get back inside the home. Photographers will not be allowed inside the home. So in that case, you wouldn't be able to do Matterport. You would have to actually still have the realtor go to the property of the unoccupied home and do the footage and do the showing. So the realtor would walk through the home, obviously wearing a face mask, gloves, booties, etc., and following all of the guidelines and hand sanitizer and wiping everything down and doing that. Or you have the realtor walk through one time. Do not talk over the top, just record the footage. And then from then on, when people want to see a virtual showing, the same way I'm playing a video for you right now over and over and over again, you could be playing that recorded video over and over and talking over the top of it. Now, Matterport is virtual camera software that they put a camera in the middle of the room and it takes a 360-degree photo, including even upwards of the ceiling and down at the floor. And it creates this virtual tour where it creates, let's say there's 17 spaces throughout the house. There's the entryway. There's the dining room to the right. There's the living room to the left. There's the hallway leading into the kitchen. And then you go into the kitchen and then you go into the family room. And you take these 17 or 20 different visual photographs and you take 360-degree views, and it allows someone to stitch those all together, Matterport, to create a live virtual, or to create a virtual tour. The thing is, those have been around forever, and those are very viable. They're awesome. Buyers love them, sellers love them, but they're still not the same as somebody walking through the home with a camera live. And so that's where live has actually been becoming preferred just in the last couple weeks. I know that it's, you know, in a way it seems a little bit complicated, or it's something new for all of you, but if you can grasp the live concept, just think back to the footage we just saw. Live is better than if that would have been pre-recorded. And live is candidly better, in my opinion, than Matterport, because Matterport, you have to click and walk through and click, and then you're still seeing, versus someone actually walking through a home and you directing them, no, stop. Can you go back? Can you actually show me the pantry? Is that walk-through pantry between the dining room and the kitchen? So that's the butler's pantry. Does that actually full complete walkthrough? So it's 360-degree circle. You could walk through the home and you could actually have somebody walk it live, just like they would be doing if they were touring the home live. So I love Matterport. I think Matterport is awesome. I think it's a great thing. I do think that live virtual is better, and that that you can do either. So now I've shown you the example. You as the agent would need to choose the meeting software you would want to use. So you would choose Zoom, you would use FaceTime, Facebook Live, Facebook Event, or Google Meets. Now earlier there was 12 different types of software that were supported by the different MLSs. We are honing in on these 5. So back to the question up on the screen, can we use Matterport to show instead? yes, you could use Matterport, and Matterport is a software service. The camera is expensive, but it's either typically owned by a photographer, and it costs money per Matterport thing to stitch together. And that's also a different type of software, because the Matterport software is what stitches it all together. And so you can choose to use that, but again, then that's not live. And I do like Matterport. I also like live. The next question is, so did I answer the question, Napua, about what is Matterport? And then the question came up, is it better to use an iPhone or an iPad to video? I will tell you that the new iPhone 10s that have 3 lenses create amazing video, and they are even better than the very expensive video cameras. So an iPhone is a very phenomenal tool. Some of the new Samsung and Android phones as well, I'm told by other agents that those have phenomenal cameras as well. And the phones seem to be easy to use, and more importantly, customers want authentic. And so one of the differences too between a Matterport showing or a pre-stitched together 360-degree photograph, I don't want to use brand names, I don't want to use Matterport, I'm just saying a pre-stitched together showing, is that it's pre-stitched, it's not authentic, it's not live. But it's higher quality. Maybe, it might be. But that's the difference between where you have to ask yourself about authenticity versus high quality. And I'm just trying to present both sides of the equation here. Even using an iPhone or an Android phone, they're authentic and they're real and they're very good to use. The iPads or the tablets can also be done. Those are easy for the home buyer or the home seller to walk around in. Those have great cameras in them as well. I would say you need to use whatever the home seller is comfortable with or whatever the realtor is comfortable with. What if you're asking though which one you should learn, I would say whatever, just use the highest quality camera, whether it be an iPhone or Android. I personally love the iPhone 10 because some of the software, even at night, when you're showing homes, the photography of the snapshot, it has this night vision and turns it into beautiful night photography, and it does that both in still shots or in video. So again, choice is up to the user. One question here, Juanita. I have set up my Zoom account and have scheduled a trial for myself and 2 friends so that I can be sure to get that going. However, I don't know how to use my smartphone to do the walkthrough if I'm doing the live showing or if I need to coach the seller on how to do it. Okay, so let's go live drive in a minute, Juanita, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll hook my phone up to my laptop and we'll walk through that. So in the meantime here, Billy, I want you to walk through real quick. Billy created, and Emily as well. Thank you to both Billy and Emily for the hard work of creating step-by-step instructions for all of you to do a live virtual showing or an open house via Zoom, via FaceTime, Facebook Live, Facebook event, or Google Meets. So Billy, first I want to talk about Zoom. So Juanita just typed into the chat that Zoom has, if you go to zoom.com, you can all set up a free account for free and start to use Zoom. You can have up to 100 participants, but you're limited to 40-minute time limit on a meeting. So for example, this class right now is going longer than 40 minutes. It wouldn't work. Or if you're doing a 3-hour open house, you would not be able to do that with a free account. So zoom.com or zoom.us, you can set up a free account. If you want to upgrade, you can upgrade for $14.99 to a pro account, which will allow you to have 100 people. It will allow you to have a meeting duration of up to 24 hours. So you could do a 3-hour virtual open house or 5-hour virtual open house because it would go that long. In addition, the pro account will record, the free version will not. So another thing is that Zoom is mobile. Notice this is a screenshot off of a mobile phone. So Juanita, this is answering your question. You don't know how to use your smartphone to do the walkthrough. one of the things you would do is go set up in your free Zoom account your meeting. Then you would pull out your mobile phone and you would hit join a meeting, sign up, or sign in. So if you have the, when you hit join a meeting, it's going to ask you for the meeting ID of the meeting that you already set up. And now you can have the meeting running off of your laptop, but you're also running it off your iPhone when you walk through the home. And then I'll show you a screenshot in a moment of an iPhone, how you can flip the camera back around and log in and actually join a meeting. So without any further ado though, Billy, I want you to walk them through step-by-step how to create a Zoom meeting and then how to kick one off. So take it away.
All right, thanks, Todd. So right here, we just have the steps listed out, but we can go to the video where we can just, I'll tell you the steps as this video goes on. So when you
create an account, real quick, we're gonna, in order for time, they've created step-by-steps for you for all 5 versions of software. So what we're gonna do is you can go back and refer to the PowerPoint later for the step-by-step instructions, but then Billy's gonna walk you through here real quick a pre-recorded video that he did, which is an example of how you would do a pre-recorded live virtual tour as well. So Billy, take it away.
All right, thanks, Todd. So yeah, so this is what you'll see when you are in your account for Zoom. You'll see schedule a meeting. You will click that schedule a meeting button, and it will take you into the meeting details page where you'll enter in all the different information you'd like to include in the meeting. So you'll have a topic. You can change the name of that. So for here, we'll say, do it as we're hosting a live virtual open house. We'll enter in that as the topic. Description, you can enter in property details or any other information that you'd like to present to viewers before the meeting would start. And then there's other options. As we scroll down, you'll be able to select the date and time you wish to host that live virtual open house. Remember, a free live Zoom account or a free Zoom account is 40-minute time window. So we'll set that duration for the 40 minutes. We'll scroll down further, and you could, the different options you'll have a meeting ID that's generated that people will use to log into your meeting. You can see that you have your personal meeting ID that doesn't change, and then you can generate an automatic one specific for that meeting that you would like. Also, Zoom has added extra security features where you can require a meeting password to enter, and then you provide participants with that meeting password. You have different options of selecting if you want your video on or off for the participants, for people joining your live virtual open house. There's other meeting options. You can mute every participant as they enter. You can enable a waiting room if you'd like to do one showing, live virtual showing at a time. Anyone that is in the waiting room will have they will be waiting until a notification will be popped up on your screen to admit and let them enter the meeting room. Then you have an option to record the meeting automatically through your local computer. So there's several different options that you can select. You save the meeting, this schedules it, and then you'll see you can add it to your calendar if you'd like. You'll see right there they have that join URL link. You're going to want to copy that, and that is the link that.
Go ahead, Billy.
That is the link that you're going to want to share when you're promoting the event. So you can use that to post on Facebook, social media. You can email it out to other agents, but that is the link that you're going to want to share to other agents or buyers that they want to view your live virtual open house or live virtual showing when you host it.
Awesome. Okay, so Billy, I paused it real quick. Notice how I paused the video because I want to talk about something. You can do that when you're doing a pre-recorded live virtual showing as well. So, and one of the things is that we are playing this via Zoom. So how you would do a pre-recorded version is you set up a pre-Zoom meeting, you have the video footage, you press play and you talk over the top of it, you pause, etc. You talk over the top of it. So one of the things I want to point out, the reason why I paused it, is you'll notice up at the top there's the add to Google Calendar, add to an Outlook calendar, add to a Yahoo calendar. If you are conducting a meeting with another realtor, you would click on add that to Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use. And the next screen that would pop up would be a window to schedule it on your calendar. And it would ask you, do you want to invite guests? And what you would do is it would invite the other realtor, it would invite the prospective buyer, and it would automatically save when they open the email invite, it would save that event to their calendar automatically. And then it's easy to tell them later when they want to come join the meeting, oh, just go to your calendar. The link is right in there on your calendar. So that's a great way I've learned working with other, agents about how to make it easy for other realtors or consumers that maybe aren't as familiar. When the link is just right there, all they have to do is click on it in their calendar, or the link that Billy has highlighted right there, you could cut and paste and text that to somebody. You could message it to somebody. You could post it on your social media, as Billy was saying, and therefore all they have to do is click on the link. So the other day, an agent in Colorado said all they did was texted this link to an 86-year-old person, and it was super simple. All they had to do was click on the link, and then it worked. And they were so excited that they were able to, do the meeting virtually and participate. So I'm going to keep on playing video. We'll play the rest of the video here for everybody.
So then also, yeah, you'll see that copy invitation. Again, you can copy it. You can add different text right here. So you can add property details, and then this is just another way to copy the meeting invitation and share it out. So that'll copy it to your clipboard if you're on a desktop, and you'll just copy or paste it to whichever platform or social media you'd like. We'll continue scrolling down, or no, we'll scroll up, and then that's basically the meeting screen. And when you're ready to go live, you'll click start the meeting, and it'll launch your Zoom window. So you'll have to, it'll open in an application that you'll have to have on your computer, just a Zoom application. So it'll just load real quick, and as it's loading, good time to get prepared for the live virtual open house. So it's connecting to the meeting right now. So it's logging you into that meeting that you shared out to everyone.
So
and then as soon as it can,
Billy, I'm pausing it for a minute again. So Juanita,
okay.
You were asking about, again, okay, you know how to set it up in Zoom, but you don't know how to then run it off of your mobile phone, et cetera. So the example here, you set the meeting up first. Now Billy is starting the meeting inside of Zoom. So you can start it on your laptop, and then you go join the meeting later on your mobile, and that's how you can use your mobile as the camera, or you could use your laptop as the camera, or you have the seller come in then after you've started the meeting, and now the seller joins the meeting, and then they turn their camera on and they start to use the camera. Does that make sense, Juanita? All right, I'm gonna press play and keep going. Billy, you keep talking.
All right. So it'll launch your Zoom window. If you're on a desktop, if you're using a mobile device, the app will automatically, you'll just open the app and it'll have the screen and everything right there for you. Now we're gonna join with our computer audio so that everyone can hear us speaking into our, into the microphone, and anyone that wants to view it. Here you'll see the screen, how it is when you are live. You'll see, you click on manage participants, and you'll see all the people that are in there. Right there, you'll see the more drop down, where if you'd like to rename participants or the buyers and the sellers, listing agents, you can do it there. So you'll rename it so that if they would like their name to be private, you can do that. You can unmute all, so there's different options, and then that's
Billy, sorry. Hang on, I messed up. I accidentally clicked it. You just renamed it. Okay.
So yeah, you'll rename it. That's how you would do that.
So Billy, what I wanted to talk about is when you're doing an open house and you have a meeting open for 3 hours, what you would see on this screen right here is also new participants showing up and popping in and out of the meeting. And so right now you just saw Billy's name only, and Billy changed it to just say listing agent. And then when the buyer joins, you would see their name pop in, and the seller's buyer's agent joins, you would see their name pop in. And when you're doing open houses, you would see various people be able to pop in. If you do a waiting room, at the top, you would see the 3 people that are in your meeting in the virtual open house, but then you would also see somebody else's phone number or whatever sitting there and says waiting to join. And next to it, it says either add or make them wait. and then you can choose to add people in from a waiting room, or you can just say admit all, and you can let everybody in as well. And then the other thing to notice that next to Billy's name, or where now he changed it to say listing agent, you can actually control people's audio and video. So this weekend, there was an agent who was conducting a live virtual open house. They had set the meeting up via their laptop, and they also were, they entered using their mobile phone as one of the participants so they could walk around the home and show people the property. But then they would have people enter the meeting and they couldn't figure out how to unmute themselves. And what he would do is go over to his laptop and he would click the little microphone button or click the little video button, and he could turn their video on and off, or their audio on and off. Now, please note, for privacy, you know, what you do is you turn on the audio and you start to talk to them first. You don't turn on their video for them until you have permission. And then just say, hey, can you hear me now? And then you can start to talk, and then you can say, hey, would you like me to turn on your video for you so that you can see my face, I can see yours, or would you rather just have audio only? And that's a way, though, that you can control everything from your meeting right there. So, Billy, I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep on talking. I just wanted to walk them through that.
Nope. Of course. No, that was good information. I think
there's a little bit
so.
more.
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, just a little bit more. Again, more options. You can to allow participants to unmute themselves. So there's different features. You can see the chat, the share your screen. So that's where the button, that share screen, is what you would click if you wanted to share a pre-recorded video, and then you would have that video up on your computer, and you would share that screen to play and pause the video as such.
Yeah, and then there was also Mark wanted to know, you know, how do I attach paperwork to Zoom that I want a realtor or a client to see? So there's two ways. Attach or to see it are two different things. If you hit the share screen button that is highlighted in the green on the bottom down there, what will happen is that then you open up in your laptop, you would open up the file you want them to see. Let's say you're searching the MLS. You could actually be searching MLS web pages and having them view on your laptop and showing that. I don't know if that's allowed by the MLS, but brokers, you chime in. But let's say you're opening up a PDF document or a contract or a disclosure document. You can hit share and then open up the document on your laptop, and they will be able to see that document. To share or attach paperwork, in the chat feature, there's a mechanism that allows you to send a document via chat, or you can email it to people and send it to them that way. So did that answer your question, Mark? And then Billy, you can keep on talking again. I'll press play.
All right, can you hear me good?
Yep.
All right, good. All right, and then when you're ready to end the meeting, you'll just click end meeting, and that will end your stream, the meeting conference that you have set.
Right. And then it's important to note that if you do end the meeting, let's say you have a meeting set for 3 hours long for an open house, you can end the meeting. I've had people end the meeting accidentally and then they panic. You can go back and restart the same meeting as long as you had it scheduled for 3 hours and have it open up. If you set a meeting just for a one-time, 1 o'clock to 1:15, then when you end the meeting, it pretty much ends. But did that answer everyone's questions then on Zoom? Want to highlight one other quick little thing going on to the next screen. Some agents, when they're doing like a listing presentation appointment, what they want to do is change their virtual background. So I'm going to turn on my video for all of you right now and watch my background. I'm in my office here. I have a background back behind me. I'm going to change and I'm going to hit choose virtual background. And when I choose a virtual background, a window comes up and I can actually choose a nice HomeSmart background that has a lighted yard sign back behind me, or I could have a photograph of one of my listings with my name on the yard sign, or I could have this background or this HomeSmart background. I could change various backgrounds back behind me, or I choose none and my background goes away. So those backgrounds, HomeSmart backgrounds, the marketing team created for all of you, and you can go download them here. And sorry, hang on, let me click off my background again. And you'll see that if on Real Smart, Smart Agent Ideas, the private Facebook group, if you search for Adam Bauer, he's our Vice President of Marketing. He made a post where he uploaded the Microsoft, or excuse me, the Zoom backgrounds for you all to download, as well as Emily, tell them where they can go download them either in the MDC or on the downloads page of homesmart.com/virtual-open-house. All right. Additionally, okay, so anything else, Billy, or any questions real quick on Zoom? Do you guys think you have it on Zoom? Okay. All right. Mark says we answered his question. All right. Kathy says, how do you actually upload those HomeSmart backgrounds into your Zoom account after you've downloaded them to your laptop? Okay, so I'm going to try to do this again here. Billy, when I select choose virtual background, do you see the background window show up that says choose a virtual background?
Yes, you can see the different options below.
Okay, so notice what I did was when on this drop-down menu, I'm going to go back one slide here for you. On this drop-down menu at the top of your menu bar, you see a little audio button, you see a little video button. There should be an arrow right next to your video button. When you click the arrow, either down or up, a pop-up window will come up and it'll say choose your virtual background. When you click choose your virtual background, this window right here will come up. And at the beginning, it's empty. So when you click this add, this little plus sign, well, it's empty. It has some default ones. It has the San Francisco Bridge. It has some grass. It has the Space Odyssey. But then these other ones are not there. You have to click this little plus button. You click the plus button and say add image or add video. So you can even add something, a video behind you or an image. If I click add image, it's going to ask me what image do you want to add into my background. And so I could go down here. Let's see here. Oh, I know what one I want to add. I'll add this one. So I add this background right here, and you'll notice that my background shows up. Now, Billy, is the word reading the right way on the screen, or is it reading backwards?
It's reading correctly on your screen, yeah, on your end.
Is it reading?
So if you're looking at the settings window, it looks like it's backwards, but your actual camera view has it correctly.
Right. And I think that's where this little button here says mirror my video. So now it reads correctly on my settings button. Does it still read correctly for you?
Yep.
Okay. And then the other way is you click this and it mirrors it. Some people like it one way or the other. But anyway, did you see how easy it was? Did that answer your question, Kathy? And then Emily, you put a note. All right, perfect. So you can actually do that with any photograph you want. A lot of agents go take a photograph of one of their yard signs so that their yard sign is over here to the right or to the left of them, and then you can actually see that, or it's one of their listings, or maybe even a custom logo. If you're an agent that has your own custom logo, you can put that up in the background back behind you. Emily, Camille wants to know about finding those on Smart Agent Ideas. Maybe we add Adam, pin that to the top, or if you can help Emily search for it real quick, that would be great. How to find it. I think if you just search Adam Bauer on Smart Agent Ideas, his posts will come up. Mark asks, how to add seller's iPhone to show the tour on Zoom. So back to this screen. Billy, did you record yourself actually putting it on a calendar, an invite? We didn't, did we?
Not the Zoom, no. I did not.
I think I have a screenshot of that coming up a little bit later, but let me fast forward here through your video. One of the things that you would do when Billy here copies and pastes right here. So when Billy copies and pastes the meeting invitation information, he would email this to his seller. And the seller then would get this information. And when they click on the link, they would enter the meeting as a participant. And they would show up right here when Billy launches the meeting. It would show up, they would show up to the right. And right underneath Billy's name, basically their name would show up. And then that's when what Billy was doing was he just did it on his name because he was the only one that was participating. But he could actually click next to the seller's name, rename, and just type the words seller. And then it would have his name and then underneath it, the seller, and they would be shielded from privacy. So did I answer your question, Mark, about how to add that for all of you? I'm gonna add none here, go back, click. All right, Mark got it. Okay, perfect. All right, Billy, we're doing good. Thanks, Emily, for all your help in the chat as well. So let's keep on going. And let's talk about FaceTime for a moment. Okay, so FaceTime software comes with every Apple phone, and a lot of people use FaceTime. The thing I've heard from some agents, that agents prefer FaceTime. I like Zoom. I just think Zoom makes it all so easy, and Zoom is a great thing to do. And you just do Zoom on your laptop and also do Zoom on your phone. But some people like FaceTime because you can flip the camera around sideways and actually have on your screen exactly what the customer is seeing as you walk through and you tour the home. So FaceTime is super easy. Billy did a step-by-step here for you for FaceTime. And we also, there's two different sets of instructions. One is to do FaceTime on your phone. The other is to do FaceTime on your laptop. And the thing that's important to note, FaceTime can have up to 32 people at one time. Zoom can have up to 100 or 49 people on one screen at a time. I'll show you a screenshot of that later. But for now, what I want to do is I want to go live drive real quick and show you how easy it is to do a FaceTime. I'm going to do a quick FaceTime call with Billy and Emily. And let my phone, let me take off all my notifications here. Turn down my volume. And I'm going to pull up FaceTime now for all of you. I need to end the show real quick. And now notice how I am running a Zoom meeting. I ended the PowerPoint. So now the PowerPoint closed down from being full screen just to seeing what you see on the screen. You can actually minimize something and make it go away. And that's where you could then open up a PDF document and a PDF document would show up on the screen. Or in this case, I'm actually going to operate my iPhone. I'm going to do a new recording right here. And hopefully my iPhone shows up. Right there is my iPhone for all of you. So I'm going to stop the video real quick. And Billy, do you see my phone up on the screen?
Yes, we do.
So what I'm going to do in the upper right corner, there's a little plus sign. When you hit that plus sign, it asks you, like, who do you want to call? So I'm going to type in right now Billy's phone number, and I'm going to touch my finger on Billy's name right there. And you notice his name goes into the call, and then underneath it, it says audio or video. But I want to add one more person, and I might want to, so let's pretend that Billy is the prospective buyer. I want to add the prospective buyer's agent. So now the buyer's agent is Emily. I'm going to go add Emily. Emily's name comes up right there. I'm going to hit Emily Hegdahl. Now notice that people are grayed out. Some are in a brighter color. Brighter color are people who have FaceTime. And the other number is people who don't have FaceTime. They must be an Android user. Android users need to use Google Duo. And if they do, they can get in. And we'll have to teach you all how to do that later. But I'm going to hit Emily right now. I'm going to add Emily. And notice that previously I'd done a call with Billy, Emily, and Tori. So it automatically comes up. This time I don't want to do a four-way call. I'm just going to do Billy and Emily. All I do is hit the green video button and watch how FaceTime starts. There's my phone. Hi, Billy.
Hello?
All right. Hang on. Turn down. Okay. All right. See if the two of you, hang on, let me try this. All right. Did that make it go away? You can all still hear me? Okay. You're hearing me through the computer, not through my phone. So what I did was I muted my phone and the audio is only going through my computer. Otherwise you get feedback. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, Emily, do you want to flip your phone around or do you want me to do that? All right. So she flipped her phone around and you can see right here that she is now acting as the camera person. Or I could do that as well. There's a little control panel at the bottom. You just click on your face. Emily, flip your camera back around. It's super simple. You just click on your image and the phone will flip around forwards or backwards. So pretty easy on how to use Zoom, right? All right, hang on, I gotta do a screenshot. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, it is a screenshot with my phone. All right. And then all you do is click the end button and the phone call goes away. So one person give me a thumbs up if we showed you what you need to know about FaceTime. I go back to the PowerPoint. And I'm gonna go back to our PowerPoint and show you my screen. And that's how you do PowerPoint. So now we're gonna talk real quick about how you do Facebook Live. Billy, do you wanna walk them through? Here's Facebook Live. We have 2 different sets of screens. The first thing is how to go live on a setup of an event. And then we have a video of it. And then once you have the event set up, then there's a separate set of instructions to actually make the event go live. So Billy, you guys go back and refer later to the step-by-step instructions, but Billy, maybe walk them through the video.
For sure. So the way we're gonna set up Facebook Live is we're gonna create an event that you can share through Facebook. Share that, whether it's your personal page or you have a Facebook business page. Just create the event for the live virtual open house. And again, Facebook Live is going to be best for a live virtual open house because it is public. Anyone that can go to your Facebook business page will see it. So there, you can't really have any restrictions on who can view it. Anyone that can go to your Facebook business page will be able to have access to that stream. So it's good for a live virtual open house. You'll create the event. Again, you'll just select a date and time you'd like to host the event. The end time you'll select. We'll do an hour. You'll enter in the event name. And then you'll see as the desktop preview, it kind of shows you how it's going to appear on people's Facebook pages. So this is how the event's going to look. You'll see it has live virtual open house. It has the date, the time. It has your link to your Facebook page as the location. And then that's where people will be able to click that link. That's the link to your Facebook Live page. And when you are live, they'll be able to view it. You'll select a category. You'll select home as the category. You can upload a cover photo for the event. There's several different other options. Some of them don't really pertain to a live virtual open house. You can show your guest list. You can make it so you can allow people to comment on the event post and directly interact with that event. So you can have people that are interested. You can invite it to people directly. So however you want to market that, but that's how you'll create the event for your Facebook page. You'll create the event and then it'll appear onto your Facebook page and we'll go to the next window to see how to access that live feed. The reason we are going to do it as an event and then you'll be able to go live when you're at the scheduled time is so if you are using a mobile device, you'll be able to access the live through a mobile device. We can go to the next screen. So then, when you're ready to go live, you'll scroll down to your page and you'll see that live virtual open house event there where you'll be able to share it, or you can boost the post to a certain location, geographic location that you'd like. But when you are ready to go live, you'll click on that live button, and it will bring you to your desktop setup, or it'll bring you to, depending on how you want to use it, you can use a mobile camera or your desktop camera, but it'll bring you to just a quick setup screen. Use the camera on your device that you're using. That's the link that you will use to share your live virtual open house. And again, you can enter in a few description terms or any notes or property details that you'd like to send out to people that are going to view your live stream. And then when you're ready to click go live, you'll click go live, and it'll show you you'll see in the bottom right corner a little preview. That's kind of what the screen was looking at. But if you are hosting it with a seller, your seller will need to be viewing the live stream at the time. So it's a good idea to go live a little bit earlier than your scheduled time, so you can have a couple minutes just to set up and make sure that the stream is working. You'll see an icon. The icon is in the previous slide, what the icon looks like. You'll click bring a friend, and then you'll see that if you have your seller is viewing the stream, you'll be able to click on your seller, and that'll include or invite them to join the stream with you. So you'll have two split cameras. It'll be like a side-by-side camera view of you, and then the other side will be the seller walking through the property, or whoever is in the property walking through the property. But yeah, when you're ready to go live, then you'll just go live.
Perfect. So sorry, I was trying to get it to go to the next slide. So so that really is how you do Facebook Live, and you have to set up the event, then you actually have to go live, and we have those step-by-step guidelines for you. Another popular one is Google, because so many people have Gmail, and some people really love Google Meets. If you want to do it with Google Meets, though, you really need to upgrade to the G Suite account, which is $6 a month. And the $6 a month can hold up to 250 people for a Google Meets event. So Billy has the step-by-step guidelines there for you on the screen. But again, let's go watch the video, and Billy walk them through what they need to do. Did you do a video for Google Meets as well?
Yeah, this is the stream for this. So you'll have your, the next slide is this video.
So we have steps 1 to 5, then steps 6 to 9 on 2 separate screens. So there's 9 steps to do Google Meets, and here's the video.
So the best way is, again, if you do have a G Suite account, you'll need that to host the video conference. You do not need a G Suite account to view it, only to host it. So anyone that has that link will be able to view your conference. But the best way to set it up is to you'll go to your Google Calendar, and you'll click create. Create will bring the event page up. You'll enter in a title of your the live virtual open house, or a virtual showing. If you're just setting up a live virtual showing, select the date and time. You'll see below there's an add guest, so you can invite people directly to it, or just share the link out. But to add the conference, you'll click on that add conference. There is your meeting ID. So that's the meeting ID that you're going to want to share, the URL link. You'll share that around so people have access to the meeting. And again, it can host up to 250 participants. However, and if you're the administrator of your own Google account, which you will be, you'll have another option in that drop down to set up a view only stream. So you'll set up the meeting, and you'll invite it to, you'll add guests as your seller. So you two will be the participants, and then you'll share out that live virtual or view stream only to anyone that just wants to view it. So it'll just be you two on the stream, but everyone else will be able to view it. So then when you're ready, you'll click on the event in your calendar, and you'll click join hangout session. It'll take you, this is again, desktop view. Mobile view is very similar to this, but it'll bring you to the Google Meets page, and it'll show you a quick kind of like setup screen. Your camera will start. It'll just load, and then you'll have the option to join now. So when you're ready to go, you'll click join now, and that'll start. The present button right there, you can click present, and if you're looking to share a pre-recorded tour, that's how you'll do that. So you'll click present, and then you can share the window that you have your stream on, or your pre-recorded video. But we click join now to go into the live meeting as we're holding a live virtual open house. You'll see again in the bottom left, you have your meeting details that you can share on. Those are the same exact, that's the same URL as from the creating the event in your Google Calendar. You'll see on the right, you'll have, again, there's a chat feature. You can select different people that are viewing it. You can unmute them, mute them, similar to Zoom. It doesn't have a feature to change, rename participants. So that's, again, personal preference on which software you'd like to use. But you have, as you are hosting it, you can invite people directly into it as you're live. Again, a lot of different features. But that's just the basic how you're going to set it up. But it's very similar to a lot of the other ones. You kind of just go live and you'll invite guests. And then here are those instructions on how to create an additional view only for if you want to share that view only stream.
Perfect. And then in addition, we put a screenshot here of the different G Suite plans that are available. So G Suite, $6 a month, $72 a year. That's the upgraded from just free Gmail. Again, only the person that sets the meeting up is the only one that needs that $6 a month account. Everybody else can view it for free, and you can have up to 250 people, right? Okay,
Yes.
so I want to just clarify real quick. When you're setting meetings up, you have to set the meeting up the right way in the meeting software. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to check the live, if you're doing a live virtual showing, typically you're going to set it up for about an hour. If you're going to do a live virtual open house, it might be anywhere up to 3 hours long, 5 hours long, however long you want to do it for. I worked with an agent this weekend who they did a live virtual open house from 12 to 3 p.m. So what they did was they set their Zoom meeting up for 11:30 to 3:30. They set it up for a 4-hour window. And then really they marketed it that it was from 12 to 3, and then people came in and left. In their case, they did market they did have a waiting room. So what they did is they went to zoom.com, and when you go to Zoom, here's how they set up their meeting. So up at the top, you have join a meeting, host a meeting, sign in. They signed in. Once they signed in, sometimes, depending if if you load the Zoom app on your phone and on your laptop, if you're an Apple user, there's this little window that'll pop up when Zoom launches, and you can quick start a meeting right from scratch. So you can hit start, you can hit copy invitation, and it's just always there, and you can run your meeting instantly. So say you get a phone call from a realtor who, it's not during an open house, but they want to talk to you right away, or they want to see a showing right away. You just click start meeting and you can start a new meeting. Up at the top here, it has schedule a meeting, join a meeting, host a meeting, and it says with video on, video off, same thing Billy was just showing you. What I wanted you to see, here's the example of 2 people in the participants and the screenshot there of what it looks like on a Zoom on a mobile. And so when I entered this open house, live virtual open house, the realtor had it labeled live virtual open house. Actually, they went back later and they added a photograph of the home in between the phone number and this, and it pushed all the text down. And they had a nice big photograph of the home right here while people were in the waiting room. And then additionally, this is what it looks like when someone was actually walking through the home. You can see the viewer's identity was shielded, and then the realtor was walking through the home, showing the home on their mobile device. Again, they can go vertical or they can go horizontal. Just to highlight a couple quick things, again, real quick, you can make it, there's been a lot of questions about security. You can require that meeting password right in the middle. Another thing is, we talked earlier about when we used to do open houses, we used to get people to sign-in sheets, and they'd give us their name, email address, phone number, information, etc. And how do you do that on a virtual open house? Well, what you would do is you would click this section right here that basically says registration required. So when you market a link out, click the meaning below to RSVP for this open house, you would require people to actually enter their first name, last name, email address, etc., like a sign-in sheet. Now the catch with that is it's an extra step. People might get to the registration and say, oh, I don't want to register, I'm not going to go, and then they don't even come into the meeting. Some agents like the registration required because then at least they're getting authentic buyers that are through when they're doing open houses, and it does capture their information because it has to have an authentic email to actually enter the open house. But that's a decision up to you, whether registration is required, whether or not you require a meeting password, or whether down at the bottom you enable the waiting room or not. So that's what we have for how you do live virtual showings, how you do live virtual open houses. I want to show you real quick then how you do live virtual listing presentations, where you go get the presentation PowerPoints, and then how you do live realtor tours. So real quick, any questions before we move on to the live virtual listing presentations and the live realtor tours? Don't see any questions so far, so let's talk real quick. Live virtual listing presentations. When you're doing a live presentation for a listing appointment or for a buyer presentation, you do have some prep work ahead of time. You either need to have the listing presentation that you would normally use, whether it be a PDF or whether it be a some sort of a presentation document or a PowerPoint. You need to have that prepared ahead of time. Or if you want to use the HomeSmart listing presentation or the buyer presentation, we have one presentation which can work with both buyers and sellers. So if you want to, you can go download the HomeSmart listing presentation from Real Smart Agent. You go into the Marketing Design Center, and I'm going to walk you through live how to do that. Download both the PDF and the PowerPoint. One of the decisions you're going to have to make is, do you want a horizontal version or do you want a vertical version? Do you want a team version or do you want an individual version? A horizontal version is, right now I'm speaking to all of you with a horizontal laptop. So I would use a horizontal version if I was presenting to you via a laptop. If I'm presenting to you in person or maybe via a with an iPad or a tablet, I could use the vertical version. And then you also, could have a live printed version that you could show people over the phone or the web as well. So I would recommend having a print version with you. So what I want to do is I want to stop my share here real quick. I'll move this out of the way. Stop the stop the appointment. Sorry, I stopped the wrong thing. Let me go back here and do my screen share again, my desktop. And what I want to do this time though is I want to go to Real Smart Agent, and I want to log in real quick. So it timed me out, so I have to log in again real quick. I'll be right with you in 1 second. And log in. So I want to log in real quick. I'm logging in as one of the agents here real quick. All right, and I'm going to pull this over here for all of you. And hopefully you can see my screen. Make sure I correct the correct screen. Okay, so what I've done here is I've logged into Real Smart Agent. And so when you want to use the HomeSmart listing presentation, if you click into the marketing section here, you'll see the drop-down menu comes down with Smart Tools, Smart Sites, Marketing Design Center, Marketing Downloads, etc. I'm going to click into the Marketing Design Center. And question, do you have to have a Real Smart login to give the listing presentation? To get the HomeSmart listing presentation, yes, you need to log into Real Smart Agent, which is the dashboard that you all use every day. and you're going to log into Real Smart Agent. You're going to click into the marketing section, click into Marketing Design Center, and then the Marketing Design Center will open up. When you click into the property listing marketing section, you'll notice that all these categories come up. You have listing tools, listing presentations, folders, covers, flyers, etc. One of the things you can do is hit this listings presentation section, and you'll notice that right here you see many different versions of the presentation to buyers or sellers. And so what it does is it has different capability for you, whether you're a team, whether you're an individual agent, whether you want to use PowerPoint, Keynote, a vertical version, a horizontal version, etc. So one of the things that I would do is I would click here. I love the individual listing presentation, PowerPoint, vertical, and I would click add to cart. Notice the cost is 0. So you just click add to cart. I would also do the horizontal version. PowerPoint, individual listing, buyer presentation, horizontal, 0, click add to cart. So when it clicks add to cart, what's going to happen is notice that my cart in the upper right corner, now it has 3 items up in the cart. One of the other things that you can do up at the top is you can hit this children's listing presentation, children's listing agreement. I'd highly recommend you, if you haven't seen this yet, explore this. It's basically a great little, it's a PDF of where if you're doing a listing presentation to someone who has children, you're gonna, just the same way you would do a listing presentation with, or a buyer's agreement with those sellers, seller's agreement with the sellers, you would do a children's listing agreement that if the children promise to keep the house clean and pick up their toys, make the bed in the morning, help their mom and dad keep the bathroom clean, they do those 3 things, that you're going to give them a Target gift card or a gift card, $25 gift card to go get a toy when the house closes. And that's the agreement. And so this is a great little marketing tool that a lot of agents are loving. And so I'm going to click add to cart of that. Then all I do is I go to this, click into my cart, I click cart, and I would click log out, check out, and you'll see all these items are right there in my cart. I click checkout, and what'll happen is then you'll receive a couple emails. So I want to go back to the PowerPoint here real quick, show you the emails that you would receive. And surely I'll answer your question in one moment. What you would do, you're going to get a first email that says your order has been placed. So those 3 items are downloaded. It's going to confirm that you ordered everything in the Marketing Design Center, and it's going to confirm the cost. The cost is free because I only ordered electronic. If I ordered the 60-page pre-printed version that's already shrink wrapped, that you also want to use the print version, these are available for $20 a piece pre-printed. You add your CMA inside, and you've got a nice 100-page presentation using the pre-printed version just by adding a CMA into the version already there. And if you did that and you ordered a pre-printed version and you ordered 1 of them, your total would be $20. If you ordered 5 of them, you know, it would be $100 because 5 times 20, and then the electronic versions are free. A couple minutes later, about 3 minutes later, you would receive another confirmation email that says your file is ready to be downloaded. You would just click on the download, click on it to download the file. Notice there are 3 download buttons. It's going to download all 3 of those items to my desktop. Now from that point, I want to go do the presentation. So I have to do the same thing. I have to decide what software I'm going to use. Let's say I choose that I want to use Zoom. I go set up Zoom, and I would go log into Zoom. I would create an appointment. I would send out a meeting invite to the prospective sellers. I would open up Zoom. I would share my desktop, and then I would play the PowerPoint or play a pre-recorded video as well. I really recommend that you practice this with a friend, the same way we practice all of the different items. And if you're doing it in Zoom, this is what it should look like, Zoom side by side with you and the prospective sellers. There are several different other views that you can go choose, so you can have multiple people on the call. I'm going to go show you real quick then how you can actually do the listing presentation using the HomeSmart presentation. Now, so what I've got here you'll notice that I have all of the listing presentations downloaded right here to my desktop. So one of the things I want to answer, Shirley, your question says, I'm not a HomeSmart agent. Can I still access the listing presentation? You can still use your own presentation. The HomeSmart listing presentation is available for the HomeSmart agents because it's got the HomeSmart logo all over it. And but you could use any presentation you have. If you're not a HomeSmart agent, use your listing presentation. Just use it in PowerPoint. The same way that I'm going to go upload this PowerPoint right here, I'm going to upload the listing buyer presentation, the horizontal version in PowerPoint. And notice that the PowerPoint comes up on the screen. And right here, what I can do is I can click on this text and I can type in the name of my homeowners. So I'm going to change this real quick to Shirley's name. Just change the first name. You can edit that text. You can change out pictures. You can go to the next screen, which talks about the 6 steps of selling, 6 steps of buying a home. You can edit any of this text that you want. Once you have the text edited the way that you want and you're ready to go, you would click Start PowerPoint. And again, the PowerPoint would come up on the screen. And so hopefully right now you're seeing the put my experience, knowledge, service, professionalism to work for you, customer presentation prepared for, Jim and Shirley Smith, and then you have your video footage there. And what would be happening is your video is going to show in a small window next to the PowerPoint then being large and being full-time. And then you just walk them through the listing presentation, the 6 steps of buying, the 6 steps of selling. At times, what you would want to do, so here's the 6 steps of selling. You talk about your 6-step process, that one of the steps is learning about the qualities of their home that they're selling. And so that you would need to ask them questions and you would walk them through the questionnaire. Then you talk about empowering them with powerful market and data and intelligence. So this is where you start to set up the CMA. And you would talk about how pricing a home is incredibly important. So would you walk them through about how to price a home, what happens with eyeballs visiting a property when it's overpriced versus underpriced, and it would set it up. And then it would walk you right into the CMA report, which you insert the CMA report here. Periodically throughout your presentation, you're going to be controlling the PowerPoint. You can also, at any point, end the show. And so now my PowerPoint goes away, and typically you could pull up other documents if you wanted, drag and drop onto your screen. Or what you do is you keep the show going, the PowerPoint show, but you stop your share. And when you stop your share, then you become live, or your video image becomes big, and that's where you can have that side-by-side conversation then with your clients. So you see how easy it is to use the HomeSmart presentation, and please type your questions into the chat. I want to make sure I answer your questions, but that's how easy it is. You set up an appointment, you invite someone into it, you open up a PowerPoint, you run the PowerPoint, and you turn your camera on and off. And after you begin to practice with Zoom, you can actually really begin to be adept at the software. The last item I want to go over today is about the live virtual realtor tours. How many of you remember when we used to go caravan around and we would go show up 10 cars filled with realtors and brokers, and we would go tour 6 to 10 different properties, and we'd go on a caravan tour. And so what we would do here is, now what's stopping us today from doing these virtual realtor tours virtually? So imagine you and 3 other agents in your office. Each of you have a listing. So you set up a live virtual tour for 4 listings, and you invite 10 to 20 to 40 agents all to tour these 4 listings virtually. So using the example earlier, there's the seller on the left-hand side, and they're walking through the home, or you, the realtor, are walking through the home, showing the home virtually. But on the right-hand side, you've literally invited 100 realtors or 100 brokers to a live virtual realtor tour. So this is where I'd love you all to participate here. How many of you all would like to participate in the first live virtual realtor tour in your state. Now, before you type in the chat, I need to know your name, your brokerage, and I need to know if you want your listing featured. Who would like to have their listing featured? Because before we can put a live virtual tour together, we have to have 5 to 6 listings ready to go to do a caravan tour type, but we're going to set it up virtually. So if you're interested, type into the chat that you're interested in participating in a live virtual realtor tour, setting one up, or having your listing featured. The way to do it is you would do the same thing that you're doing with a live virtual showing. The only difference is you're going to invite 40 agents and you're going to set up more than one listing. So you're going to choose your software, and then you're going to choose which software you want to include, and then you're also going to choose the listings. You're going to create an appointment. You're going to send out an invitation. You're going to set up your desktop, and you're going to walk them through it. So pretty neat stuff here. Hope you like what you saw. That's how we're going to do live virtual realtor tours. Nika in Honolulu, love it. Let's get one of those set up going for all of you in your respective areas. And that's kind of everything virtual real estate. So as a recap, as a summary of everything we covered today, we're teaching you how to do this. We want you to try it, practice it, use it, put it in place in your business, become experts, and then you each individually lead your industry in your local areas. We just have to then market our properties, conduct the live virtual showings, and here's our marketing recap, the 6 things we need to do marketing-wise. We walk you through step-by-step how to do it, and bottom line is, consumers, if they can choose their spouse online, they can choose their house online. Let's all go to it. Let's start to do this. I appreciate all of you joining today on how to host successful virtual real estate. And without anything else, Billy, is there anything else that we need to add here today?
No, I think you hit it all, and just, go out and practice. Get you comfortable and familiar with all the different platforms and softwares out there available for you, and definitely take advantage of the technology.